All right, so today we're diving into interviews for wind musical instrument makers.
Definitely a cool job.
Oh yeah, super cool.
Yeah.
We got some great stuff from RoleCatcher to help us out.
Like what kind of stuff?
Well, they've got career guides and like sample interview questions, even info on their AI platform.
Sounds pretty comprehensive.
It is. They've really covered all the bases, so you're ready to totally nail that interview.
I love that nailing it. That's the goal.
Absolutely. And speaking of nailing it, RoleCatcher's Career Guide really emphasizes that this job, it's not just about assembly, right? You're bringing music to life.
It's true. It's a blend of artistry and precision.
Exactly. You need to understand acoustics, the nuances of different instruments, making sure each one produces that perfect
It's
sound.
a pretty special skill set.
It is. But let's jump right into some interview prep.
Sounds good. Where do we start?
Well, RoleCatcher has a whole section on common interview questions.
Perfect. Let's hear them.
Okay, so the first one is, can you tell me about your experience with wind instrument design?
That seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah, but what are they really looking for here?
I think they want to see your passion.
Passion. Okay.
Yeah, don't just list off instruments you've worked on. Tell a story.
A story.
Interesting. Like maybe about a unique design challenge you faced, or a time you experimented with some crazy new material.
So show them you're a problem solver, dedicated to the craft.
Exactly. They want to see that spark.
What about follow-up questions? What if they dig a little deeper?
Oh, they might ask about the biggest challenges you've faced in design.
Okay, so how do you handle those kinds of questions?
It's your chance to show you can learn from setbacks,
Yeah.
that you're not afraid of them.
So turn those challenges into growth opportunities.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher, they actually provide some sample responses.
Oh, that's helpful. Like a little cheat sheet.
It is. They can help you structure your answers really well.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, let's move on. How would you go about repairing a damaged wind instrument? That's the next one.
Ooh, that's a good one. Gets into the nitty-gritty.
It does. It's where your knowledge of instrument mechanics really comes in.
Absolutely. Think about it. A trumpet comes in with a dented bell,
Ouch.
right? First you assess the damage. Is it just cosmetic? Or does it affect the airflow? The sound?
So you're like an instrument doctor.
Kinda. Then you pick the right tools and techniques.
Like what?
Maybe dent removal, soldering, maybe even replacing the whole bell.
So you walk them through that whole process.
You do. It shows you're detail-oriented.
Right, and that you can diagnose problems. RoleCatcher's Career Guide really stresses that meticulousness throughout the process.
It's all about restoring the instrument's integrity, making sure it plays as beautifully as it did before.
Speaking of making sure, what about quality control? That's got to be huge.
Huge. And there's usually a question about it.
Like, how do they phrase it?
Something like, how do you ensure the quality of your wind instruments?
Okay, so it's not just about fixing problems, but preventing them in the first place.
Right. Being proactive, RoleCatcher recommends talking about your specific process.
Okay, like what kind of stuff?
How you inspect each component, how you test for air tightness,
Right.
and how you make sure the instrument meets your standards.
Standards. Interesting.
Yeah, you could even mention specific tools you use.
Like what kind of tools?
Well, for example, a bore gauge measures the internal diameter of the tubing.
Okay, and why is that important?
It's crucial for consistent sound and airflow,
Yeah.
making sure everything's just right.
Wow. That's the kind of detail that really impresses interviewers.
Shows you really know your stuff.
It does. Okay, next question. How do you keep up with the latest trends and developments in wind instrument design? Lots to unpack there.
Definitely. It's about staying ahead of the curve.
Right, not getting stuck in the past.
Exactly. You want to show your passion and curiosity.
Okay. How do you do that in an interview?
We'll mention industry publications you read, workshops you've attended.
So like professional development.
Yeah, or even online communities you're part of. Show them you're not just content with the status quo. You're constantly trying to improve.
It's that lifelong learner mentality.
It is always growing,
Wow.
always evolving.
I like that. Any follow-up questions they might ask about this?
They might ask about a specific trend that excites you.
Oh, like something cutting edge.
Yeah. Or how you've incorporated new techniques into your work.
So be ready to talk about advancements in materials, manufacturing processes, stuff like that.
And don't forget technology.
Oh, right. Like computer-aided design.
Yeah, that's becoming more and more prevalent.
RoleCatcher's Career Guide actually mentioned that, the growing role of technology.
It's an evolving field, for sure. Always something new to learn.
Okay, moving right along. How do you approach customizing a wind instrument to meet a customer's specific needs? This one's all about collaboration.
Totally. It's about working with the musician, understanding their vision,
Like imagine a musician wants an instrument with a totally unique sound.
or a special ergonomic design.
Exactly. So how do you handle that kind of request?
You walk them through the possibilities, talk about materials, modifications, the whole 9 yards.
So it's a very personalized process.
It is. You're creating an instrument that's an extension of their musical voice.
That's pretty cool. Okay, next question from RoleCatcher. How do you ensure that your wind instruments are safe and comfortable to play?
This is where ergonomics come in.
Ergonomics, like how the instrument feels in your hand?
Exactly. Think about key placement, the shape of the mouthpiece, weight balance.
Oh, but those little details.
They all contribute to a comfortable playing experience.
So what does RoleCatcher suggest we talk about here?
Well, you could mention using adjustable features or lightweight materials.
Okay. And getting feedback from musicians.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Actually asking them how it feels to play.
So it's like designing a perfect glove, but for making music.
I like that analogy.
Now, for a question that goes straight to the heart of it, how do you ensure that your wind instruments produce a high-quality sound?
This one's all about your expertise.
It's showtime.
Yeah, talk about selecting the right materials,
Like, give me some examples.
the type of wood, the metal alloy, it all makes a difference.
And how you shape the instrument's body.
That's crucial. You're optimizing sound production?
You're like a sculptor of sound.
I like that. I'm going to use that.
Steal it. It's all yours.
Yeah.
But any specific tips from RoleCatcher on how to really nail this answer?
They suggest going beyond just the making.
Beyond the making.
Talk about how you actually evaluate the sound.
Ah, interesting. So how do you know it's good?
Right. Do you use special equipment?
Yeah.
Do you rely on your trained ear?
Or maybe even get feedback from other musicians.
That's a good one. It shows you're not just relying on your own judgment.
Right. It's a collaborative approach to quality.
It is, and it demonstrates that you really care about the final product.
And that's what it's all about, right?
Absolutely. Creating instruments that sound amazing.
Instruments that make people want to play music.
That's the ultimate goal. Okay, so speaking of showcasing your process, RoleCatcher's got this question about organization. How do you manage your workload and prioritize tasks as a wind instrument maker?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. It's not all about the hands-on stuff, right? You got to be organized, too.
Exactly. It's the business side of things. They want to know you can handle it.
So what kind of things should you highlight?
Your systems. The things you use to stay on top of everything.
Okay, so like what specific examples?
Project management software, a detailed calendar, maybe a special workflow you've developed.
Ah, so you're showing them you're not just skilled, but you're also strategic?
Right. You can manage time and resources effectively.
Makes sense.
Mm.
What about follow-up questions for this one?
They might ask about juggling multiple projects or how you handle unexpected delays.
Those are always tricky.
They are, but be ready with concrete examples. Show them you can adapt and stay organized under pressure.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, next one from RoleCatcher. Can you describe a time when you had to troubleshoot a problem with a wind instrument? This feels like a classic interview question.
It is. It's a classic for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
But for this career, there are some nuances.
Okay, like what should we keep in mind?
It's not just about describing the problem. It's about your thinking process.
Show them you can analyze and solve problems.
Exactly. So walk them through it. How did you diagnose the issue? What steps did you take? Did you consult any resources? Really paint a picture of your problem-solving approach.
And don't forget the outcome. Did you actually fix it?
Right. Highlight your success and what you learned from the experience.
It's about resilience and continuous improvement.
Yeah.
Right. RoleCatcher mentions that in their career guide.
They do. It's a key trait for instrument makers, always striving to get better.
Now, for a question that's becoming more and more relevant,
Mm-hmm.
how do you ensure that your wind instruments are environmentally friendly and sustainable?
This is a big one. It's about responsibility.
Showing that you care about the environment.
Exactly. Think about your materials. Do you use sustainable woods? Recycled metals?
Are there alternative materials out there?
There are, and RoleCatcher really highlights the importance of responsible sourcing.
So you got to walk the walk, not just talk the talk.
Right, and it goes beyond materials too. It's about the whole life cycle of the instrument.
Okay, so like what else should we be considering?
Is it designed to last? Are the components easily repairable or replaceable? Have you thought about end-of-life disposal recycling options?
Wow. So it's about thinking holistically, minimizing your impact.
Exactly. It's about being a responsible craftsman.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Interview prep is no joke.
It's not. But luckily, RoleCatcher's got more to offer.
Like what?
They've got this awesome AI platform.
Oh yeah, I've heard about this.
Tell me more. It can help you refine your answers, tailor them to specific jobs.
Sounds pretty high-tech.
It is. It's like having a virtual interview coach.
Okay, how did that work?
You input your answers to practice questions, and the AI gives you feedback,
Feedback on what?
clarity, conciseness, relevance, even the use of industry terms.
So it's like having an expert review your answers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it gives you personalized guidance.
That's amazing. And they even have a video practice feature.
They do. You record yourself answering questions, and the AI analyzes your nonverbal communication.
Whoa, your facial expressions, eye contact,
Tone of voice.
all of it. It's like having a performance coach. That's next level. Okay, so we've talked about the questions and RoleCatcher's AI. Now let's circle back to the career guide itself.
Sounds good. What did you want to highlight?
Well, they outline the typical career path for an instrument maker.
They do. They break it down into stages, from entry level to senior positions.
It's like a roadmap for your career.
Exactly. So you know where you are and what you need to do to progress.
So, like, what does an entry-level maker do?
They might focus on assisting with assembly, learning the basics, following instructions.
And as you gain experience,
You take on more responsibility, precision assembly, quality control, troubleshooting.
and eventually you might even lead a team.
Exactly. A senior maker might oversee the whole process, develop quality control measures, collaborate with designers.
It's pretty cool to see that progression.
It is. And RoleCatcher includes these example profiles for each stage.
Oh, yeah. I love those.
Yeah.
It's inspiring to hear from real people who have walked this path.
It helps to see how everything translates into real-world careers.
Now, before we move on, there's one more thing from the career guide I wanted to mention. The physical demands of the job.
Oh, yeah, RoleCatcher does point that out.
They say it involves standing for long periods and working with small parts.
It's definitely something to consider.
Right. It's a creative and rewarding career. But it can be physically demanding.
So if you have any limitations, think about that.
Maybe even address it proactively during the interview.
Good idea. But on the flip side, if you love hands-on work and enjoy meticulous detail,
This could be the perfect career.
it could be your chance to create something truly special.
So we've gone from like fixing a dented trumpet bell to talking about a whole career path.
It's amazing how much ground we covered.
RoleCatcher really gives you the full picture of being a wind musical instrument maker.
And they even have like an FAQ section for common questions.
Oh yeah, like what kind of stuff?
Well, they talk about different work environments. You know, it's not just big factories.
Oh right. You could be in a small workshop, a repair shop.
Even your own business. You could really find your niche.
I like that. Like specializing in antique flutes.
Exactly, or building custom saxophones.
So many possibilities.
But they also talk about the challenges.
Oh yeah, like what?
The need for insane attention to detail.
Right. And keeping up with new techniques.
And technology. Like they mentioned 3D printing. That got me thinking about the future.
Oh yeah. What will happen to handcrafted instruments?
Will they be like rare art?
Or will tech totally change the game?
Maybe both. Like vinyl records, people still value the human touch.
There's something special about knowing an instrument was made by hand.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher talked about the pride of seeing someone play your instrument.
Like you contributed to the music itself.
Yeah, it's more than just a job.
It's a legacy, creating something beautiful and lasting.
So going into that interview, let your passion shine through.
Show them your skills, your experience,
Your dedication to the craft.
and use those resources from RoleCatcher.
The guides, the practice questions, the AI platform.
They'll help you stand out.
You got this.
Yeah.
Go nail that interview.
And that's our deep dive into the world of wind musical instrument maker interviews. We talked about the skills, the passion, the challenges, and even the future of this amazing field. Good luck with your interview. We're rooting for you.